Okay, baby. Strip Club Radio.
We were all three talking about how 21-year-old strippers are not asking for rock and roll anymore. And so,
right.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go when you came on the show, so I'm glad you called right about now. So how do you feel, first of all, about the state of rock and roll, and then we'll talk about your new record, because I think if we had more fucking Buckcherrys out there, maybe rock and roll could...
I think that, you know, rock is in a bad spot right now because there's not a lot of space, there's not a lot of soul, there's not a lot of, you know, there's a lot of bands like, you know, making rock music to, you know, grids on a computer, and they're putting way too many tracks on it, and they're saturating it with so many, like, vocals and guitar tracks and everything that it gets kind of muddy and kind of lost in translation. And then on top of it, they're not really saying much, you know, they're not, you know, rock and roll used to be about sexual innuendos and, you know, talking about having a good time. And,
yes.
And
exactly.
It's just, it's not a lot of fun anymore. And, you know, people are going to pop music and electronic music because it's fun. People are still talking about fucking and dancing and you know, chicks, and that's where, like, the fun is, you know? So, we've always kind of stuck to our guns and done, you know, what we believe in over the years. And
I mean, what was the thought process? And they just said one day that, fuck it, we're going to do it this way. And
I'll tell you where it went wrong. You want to know where it went wrong? We got technology. Technology came into the fold, and you could be very mediocre at your instrument, and you can go in and record it into computer and chop it all up and tune it all up and make it sound great. And so because of that, the bands would eventually get out there to play live, and they would suck live because they can't do anything that they do on their record because they, you know, they manipulate it inside the computer. So then they start running tracks live. So most of all these rock bands are running tracks live, which you never saw except in pop music. You never saw that unless you went to a Britney Spears concert. So now, like, there's all these rock bands running tracks through the PAs. Some singers aren't even singing. And it's like, it's crazy what's going on. And I don't think, you know, people, like the average, you know, audience member is, like, you know, hip to, like, what's really coming out of the PA speakers, what's real and what's not. So I think all of that is just not good. We don't have any more guitar heroes. There's not a lot of charismatic frontmen in rock music. So that's all got to change, and it will. I mean, that's what happens, you know.